with the NFL schedule having been released just a few days ago and me being out of commission after a storm went through my town, if you guys can't tell, I'm not in my normal setup. I figured it's about time that I run through all of the games for the Chargers this season, who I think will win and lose, and some of the key storylines about each game. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. So if this is your first time on the channel, my name is John. This is the Sports Advocate. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy this content, give me a like or a dislike. Give me some criticism down below and comment what you think the Chargers record will be at the end of the season. Also, if you really enjoy this content, go ahead and hit subscribe because I have content coming out like this daily, and I say daily with a grain of salt in there because yesterday I didn't upload, and there might be a 2-day gap because there was a storm that went through my town, and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know this, knocked out all the power, all the Wi-Fi. There was a lot of structural damage in the town I live in, and I had to move towns for a couple days now, but I figured now that some power is back, at least where I'm at now, I can record this, post it for you guys, and hopefully by tomorrow we'll be back in my old place. But nonetheless, if you are here, thank you for tuning in. I know last video I was sitting down, and that's my plan going forward, but I really can't right now. So let's just go ahead and get right into this. Obviously, we all know that there's 17 games now. There's 18 weeks in the NFL season. That was a big change up from last year. So record-wise, there's going to be a little bit of a difference. As always, a lot of people expect that the Chargers team this year is going to be doing very well, and I also predict the same thing. But let's keep one thing in mind. Every single year, every single fan and everything is surprised by teams. Some people think a certain team's going to do really good, and they do very poor because of any reason, and vice versa. So let's keep that in mind. All these predictions are predicted, hoping that the players and the coaches are fully healthy and play at their top potential, but there's plenty of implications that could change that. So, week 1, Chargers against the Raiders. It's the end of the year rematch. The Chargers end up losing to them in overtime from a field goal after a Staley timeout last year. Now they're going to face them week 1 of this brand new season. Who will win after this big rematch that really is going to kick off the season extremely well, if you ask me, for both teams? You got Devontae Adams, who's a brand new guy for the Raiders, against J.C. Jackson, who's a brand new guy for the Chargers. You have both teams that have very, very good D-lines and have improved extremely well. Great edge rushers on both sides of the ball. Derek Carr and Justin Herbert on both sides. Joey Bosa and his trash talk to Derek Carr. I think it's going to be a very, very fun game, a very exhilarating game. I'm not exactly sure how well it's going to go. I expect the Chargers to win. I have a win here, but you never know. With the first game of the year, there's always some crazy upsets that no one ever expects. Like, was it last year or the year before? It was like Colts versus Jaguars, and the Jaguars won it, and it was like their only win all year long or something like that. So I expect a lot of surprises here, especially early on in the year. Last year, the Chiefs, for example, really struggled early on in the year, and they turned it around. There's possibility of that happening, but I have a win here versus the Raiders week 1. Now week 2, you have the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. Very, very big game, primetime game. Within 5 days of the season starting, the Chargers play 2 games versus 2 very good teams in the West. So how well is that going to go? Here, because of what happened last year early on in the year with everything that's going to be going on this year, now that Hill's gone and they got new people like Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyrann Mathieu off this team, I have the Chargers winning on Thursday Night Football. The Chargers would now be 2-2. You got Mahomes versus Herbert. You have Andy Reid versus Coach Staley. You have a lot of very, very good talent on both sides. I just wonder how well the Chiefs are going to be able to do right away when they don't have Hill and also when they don't have Tyrann Mathieu. Yes, they brought in new people. Yes, I think the Chiefs will still do good this year, but last year they struggled out of the blocks. I expect them to do something similar this year. I have the Chargers going 2-2, and I expect a little bit of maybe not this game, but I'll bring it up in a second. Week 3, we got the Jaguars. Can the Jags turn it around? Last year they struggled a lot, even with Trevor Lawrence. This year they did more drafting. We're number 1 pick again. How are they going to be able to turn around? Is this team going to be competing? No. win is an easy win in this league. We've found that out last year and every single year. No win's easy. I have the Chargers winning this 3-0, and I don't think that's biased, but saying 3-0 as a fan feels a little bit uncomfortable. Week 4 versus Texans. The Chargers, will the Texans be the worst team in the league? Will the Chargers be able to beat a bad team? I think they lost last year to the Texans in a must-win situation there, or it ended up being a must-win situation. Yes, the Chargers were banged up in that game, but the Texans were not a good team at all last year. I don't expect them to be a very good team this year. Can the Chargers win a game that should be easy for them? And I have a win here. Yes, the Chargers started the season 4-0. They start out very, very good. That's what I have predicting. And it sounds really biased coming out of my mouth, but there's some stuff coming up. Week 5 at the Browns. Last year when we went against the Browns, it was an incredible shootout. Now, when can Watson play is the big storyline. How soon will Watson be able to play? Will he play week 1? Will he have to sit out 6 games, sit out 4 games? Will this be his first game playing for the Browns? I'm not sure, but plenty of incredible things that could happen in this game. I mean, I don't think people expected a big shootout last year for the game against the Browns, and it was an incredible, incredible game to watch. Will something similar happen here? Can the Browns return to winning now that they have a brand new quarterback? Was Baker Mayfield actually the problem? That's a lot of questions that we'll have to answer now early in the season. It's week 5. I have a feeling that it's probably going to be Baker Mayfield behind, and I don't see anything wrong with that. But with a lot of people moving, Odell's gone, Jarvis Landry's gone. They brought in Amari Cooper, but who is going to run it for them? They have incredible running backs. This will be a test for the Chargers in the running game with Chubb and Hunt back there. I have a win. Yes, 5-0. I know. Week 6 versus the Broncos on Monday Night Football. Russ on the Broncos. Herbert has been a star in prime time. There's been D-line improvements on both sides, edge on both sides. Some incredible improvement. Who will do better? Now, I think the Chargers have a better O-line. I think the Chargers have a better defense in general, but I don't know. I don't know. I think this is a loss, and I'm not sure why I think it, but I think it's going to be a loss. And yes, it's versus the Broncos. The Chargers have home field. Herbert's been amazing on Monday Night Football, but I just have a feeling that this will be a loss. So now I have the Chargers going 5-1. They end up losing to the Broncos. So we have, sorry about that. I had to read something real quick. 5-1. Chargers' first loss comes to the Broncos in Week 6 on Monday Night Football at home against the Broncos, led by Russell Wilson. How well will that play out? I'm not sure. I could see the Chargers losing very early on the season, but I have a feeling that they'll start very good and they'll end up dropping one here around Week 6 or so. Now, Week 7, we have against the Seahawks. We play Russ's new team, directly followed by Russ's old team back-to-back. Are they rebuilding? We don't really know. Who's going to be their quarterback? Is it going to be Drew Lock? Who is going to lead this team? I have a win here. It's pretty simple. You got to be able to beat these bad teams, but when you're just predicting, you expect these good teams to beat the bad teams, and that's just how it is. When it comes to game week, my prediction may be different, but for right now, I have the Chargers winning this. They're now 6-1. Now Week 8 is the bye week. That's great. A little bit early for me if I were to choose, because you have 7 games, you get 1 off, and then you have 10 games in a row, and then you enter playoffs, especially in a tough division like the West, AFC West. That could lead you to a wild card spot, even if you have a really, really good record, which means you could be playing a lot of games in a row, 13, 14 games in a row if you get lucky, and I'd hope so, but that's a little rough there. So I would prefer a later bye, but you got to deal with what is given to you. Week 9 at the Falcons. How good will the Falcons be? We don't really know who's going to be the quarterback there. Will they be led to the Super Bowl like their young future possible star quarterback has promised them? Will it be Marcus Mariota there? What will they be able to do now that Matt Ryan is gone? Julio Jones left a while back. They didn't get the star potential that a lot of people expected them to get in free agency. What will happen here? I'm not sure. I have a win. Yes, the Chargers have only lost one game. No, I don't think that's an over-exaggeration, but I do feel a little bit uncomfortable saying that. For one, the Chargers struggle sometimes when there's high expectations, and for two, there's not a lot of teams that can do that at the start of the season, and I personally have not had a chance to really witness that for some time now. The Chargers just start crazy, and last year they started really good, and they fumbled a little bit at the end of the year, but I do expect the Chargers to win here, and now we're at, 7-1? Okay, now week 10 at the 49ers, Sunday Night Football, Bosa on Bosa, Joey Bosa versus Nick Bosa, young brother, old brother. Who will win that? Well, they're not facing directly against each other, but who will get more sacks? We don't really know. I think Joey Bosa will probably try to come out and play and prove that there's a reason why he's the better brother. He's the older brother. Who will start at quarterback for the 49ers? They still have Jimmy G. Will he get traded? Will he end up the starter? There's some turmoil going on about their young quarterback. There's also turmoil on if they should or shouldn't keep Jimmy Garoppolo. It's going to be a tough decision for them. It could change the altercation of this. I have a win. Chargers are now 8-1, and I'm happy to say that. I'd be incredibly happy to say that the Chargers go 8-1, but you know how tough that is. It's so tough, and I don't want to get swept into you're a Chargers fan and say they're going to do great. So, Week 11 versus the Chiefs. I'm going to just give it to you straight. This is a loss. I have them losing this. Yes, it is at home, but earlier I expect the Chiefs and the Chargers to split series. I don't know who will win which game. I had the Chargers winning early because the Chiefs struggles early last year, early on in the season, and also the fact that they lost Hill and Tyrann Mathieu. Now, around Week 11, I expect the Chiefs to be able to turn it around. I'm bringing up the same stuff as last time I talked about them, so I'm not going to talk about them too long. I expect this game to be a shootout. I just do. I expect the Chiefs to be doing very well. I expect the Chargers to obviously be doing very well. I have a loss here because I think the Chiefs and the Chargers are going to split the series. So, there you go. Chargers have 2 losses. And next up, Week 12 at the Cardinals. Will their offense be able to click? Hopkins will be back at this point. You have Brown. You have Kyler Murray. Will they click or will they start to fumble at the end of the year like they did a little bit last year? They struggled. They got in playoffs. They will lose round 1. They didn't get paid their wages like they were supposed to. Kyler Murray was deleting tweets deleting all his posts. Will they be able to click? Will Kyler Murray be able to lead them and get paid? Tough questions here. Tough questions here. And I'm not sure what the answer is. Now, I feel like the Chargers, having just played a tough game that they end up losing versus the Chiefs, having a Sunday Night Football just a week prior before that, now you go on. You got a tough stretch here. You got a really tough stretch here. And you got another tough stretch coming up. At the beginning of the season is a lot easier than the end of the season, if we're being completely honest here. I have the Chargers winning over the Cardinals because the Chargers defense, I think, will be able to step up and really hold it down. So we got a win here. The Chargers we're now in Week 11, 9-2. Now, Week 13 at the Raiders. You got 2 great D-lines. Same stuff as we talked about earlier is the rematch. Adams, Jackson, Carr, Herbert, all this stuff. And I got the Chargers winning this. I don't think the Raiders and Chargers split the series. I just don't. Why I don't know. I just have a feeling. So now, Chargers are 10-2. Next up, Week 14 versus Dolphins. Tua with Hill. Are they going to be able to click? We watched Tua throw him a little bit of a duck ball, and Hill had to slow down to come catch it. Will they be able to click? Will they be able to make it work? I'm not exactly sure. It's going to be a very, very important thing. But every time the Dolphins end up going against the Chargers, it's going to be about Herbert versus Tua. The number 5 pick versus number 6 pick. Which one was the right pick? That's what every single matchup is going to be between these two guys. I have the Chargers winning this. And yeah, I have the Chargers winning this. I don't know if The Dolphins, who have had a great defense, had an amazing time at getting the ball back, turnovers, all that stuff. I don't know if their offense is going to be able to fire as much as Herbert. So I have the Chargers winning this, and I don't think that's incredible. Next up, a very, very tough matchup, at least on the run game. Week 15 versus the Titans. Can the run defense hold up? Can it step up against Derrick Henry, who I would say is the best running back in the league at this very moment? How will the Titans offense play now that they've lost Julio Jones and Brown? How will they do? Their defense kind of always, it's not as great as people think it will be, but it's still a little bit better than it looks on paper each year, it seems like. How will this go? The Titans always seem to be doing good at the end of the year. I do have a loss here. Chargers have lost 3 games now. They lose to the Titans, they lose a game to the Chiefs, and they drop a game to, was it the Broncos? Yeah, drop a game to the Broncos. Now week 16 at the Colts, Monday Night Football. Can Matt Ryan lead the Colts? This Colts team has been great, offense and defense, but it's been this QB carousel, and it's been very, very tough to watch. You have back-to-back really run-heavy games. Another one, you got Jonathan Taylor, incredible running back, future star, maybe the future running back 1 in the entire league. How will this game go? You have 2 tough games, and you're on Monday Night Football. You get one more extra day of rest, but how well will the Chargers do? And, I have a win here, so the Chargers only have lost 3, and I expect this to be a close game. I don't expect this to be a shootout. I expect this to be a close game, low scoring, around 20s. That's what I expect, but I expect the Chargers win. Week 17 versus the Rams on Sunday Night Football. LA versus LA, future Super Bowl? Question mark? I think this is probably my pick for Super Bowl. LA versus LA. Who wins this in this very situation? I have the Rams winning it. Why? Because the Rams are coming off a Super Bowl. They're about to enter playoffs in Week 17. They want to go out with a really strong play because the next week they're probably going to be resting people. I have the Rams winning this. So, take that with, Matthew Stafford is plenty capable. They have an incredible offense with Kupp, Odell. They have so much, and their defense still has Aaron Donald and Ramsey. Their defense is great. This is going to be a really defense heavy and offense heavy. I think I don't even know how to predict this because the defense is so good it could be low scoring, but the offense is so good it could be high scoring. I don't know how to predict this, but I have the Chargers losing. This is their 4th loss of the year. Now week 18 versus the Broncos. The Chargers don't want to lose the last game of the year. This could be a really important game for playoffs. It could be. This could be the deciding factor of if the Chargers get a break on wild card or not. So depending on how the other teams are doing and all that stuff, this is going to be a weather game. This is probably going to be a really cold game. You're in the mile high, all that stuff. You got to close out the season strong. But I have a loss here because I think the Chargers are going to be resting people. And I think the Broncos are going to be in a position where they have to fight to make it into the playoffs. So I have the Chargers losing 5 games. They go 12-5 on the year. Sorry about that, guys. Chargers go 12-5 on the year. They lose. They split the games with the Broncos, split the games with the Chiefs. They end up... Wait, did they split the games with the Broncos? I think I had them losing... Did I have them losing both? I'm not sure, actually, on that. But I have the Chargers going 12-5, and I think that's an incredible record. I think that's going to probably put them at first place in the AFC West because how tight it's going to be. Not everyone can have 13 wins, 14 wins. So I expect Chargers to go 12-5, and I'm pretty firm on that. I think that's not a terrible take. I think a lot of people might agree with that. Now, at the start of the season, I had them going really, really good, 5-0, and they were doing incredible. They only had 1 loss through 10 weeks. They were doing really, really good, but at the end of the season, it gets really tight. I mean, let's just go back through the beginning of the year. Raiders, Chiefs, those are tough games. That's week 1 and week 2. Then you have the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Browns. No one really knows what any of those teams are going to be doing. So the beginning of the year, you have 2 kind of tough games, and then some easy ones, and then you have the Broncos, which is going to be a tough game, and then you have the Seahawks and the Falcons, which people expect to be easy. 49ers, No one knows what's going on. And then you have the Chiefs. That's tough. Then you have the Cardinals. That's tough. Raiders. That's tough. Dolphins are expected to be good. Titans, Colts, Rams, Broncos. I mean, after week 10, it's every single team after week 10 I expect to be right at 500 or above 500. So 12-5, that's my take. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and say what you think. What you think the record is. Give me some of your opinions back and forth. I'm sorry about the quality. I know the camera's not great. It's really fuzzy. I don't have the right lighting in here. But I had to make do with what I have because there is not power at my house. And there's a lot of stuff going on. And I just really want to get this out here. I didn't want to wait any longer. I hope this video was still enjoyable for you guys. I hope you still got something out of it. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like or a dislike. Give me some criticism. Comment what you think Charged record will be. And if you enjoyed this content, you want to see more, hit subscribe because I have content like this coming out pretty much daily. NFL, NBA, and NHL. And as always, I hope it taught you something. I hope I made you smile. I hope I made you laugh. That's something that's really important to me. Affects someone else's day in a great way. And as always, you guys all be safe out there.
But something deep inside won't